Team building. It is most commonly used terminologies in all the professions, organizations, etc. Why this concept is so familiar? What it is, we have to understand it first. To understand team building better, first we should know what is team. Let us understand what is team. There are a lot of words moving around. It's like mob, crowd, group, gang, team. We have to understand the difference between these words. What is a crowd? A crowd is a group, a short-lived group. For example, in a marketplace, suddenly there may be more number of people assembling. We can say there is a more crowd in marketplace. Okay, the crowd doesn't have any common intentions between the members. There is no relations between the different members. Similarly, the group is a generic term for a group of people. Somewhat it may be less or more permanent in nature. That means a group of students in a college, a WhatsApp group. When we say all this as a group, somewhat a permanent nature is attached compared to a crowd. Crowd is purely temporarily a short-lived group. Okay. When we say mob, mob is a disordered group. That means it is a suddenly gathered group only, but the intention is little bit violent in nature. For example, accident in the road. Suddenly there will be a group gathered. They may turn to a violent group. The most important thing in mob is there is no leader in the mob. Okay. Then gang. Gang is an organized group, but with criminal intentions. Here there is a leader. It is an organized group only, but only one thing it is missing here is motive is wrong. So we should know what are these things. First, what we saw: crowd, group, mob, gang. Yes. So all these are, though it is a human being working in a group there, the characteristics are different. It doesn't match to the organization, which requires a very organized workforce to work with them. Now, let us go to a team. We don't call all the group as a team. We call only few group as a team. If I take example, Indian cricket team. Why you call it as a team, not a group? We should understand the basic characteristics of the team. There are four main and major characteristics of a team. Let us see that. Yes, friends, these are the most important characteristics of the team. One, the team should have a leader. The team should have a common goal. Each member has their own responsibility in a team. Then, interlinking roles of each member will be there. I'll repeat. It should have a leader. It should have a common goal. Each member has responsibility. And each member has interlinking roles. Okay. Can I give one small example again? I will take the same example, cricket team. Do you have a leader in a cricket team? Is there any common goal for the team? Each member has responsibility. Batsman, wicketkeeper, bowler, coach, physiotherapist, manager, isn't it? Interlinking roles. To achieve the common goal, the batsman has to perform, bowler has to perform, wicketkeeper has to perform. When bowler is bowling, fielder has to field. When one batsman is playing the other side, the another batsman has to respond. Like this, there is lot of interlinking role. Physiotherapist is directly related to the physical fitness of the team members. Like this, there is lot of interlinking roles in the team. Do you understood? When a team is there, it should have a common leader, common goal. Each member has responsibility and interlinking roles. Only when these things are there, we call it as a team. Okay. Now let us see how the team formation is happening. It is very important. The team building for a team, how team process of team formation and how it works has to be understood. So let us start. Yes. Friends, these are the major things which you have to remember when team building process. There are 4 stages main and 5th one we'll see the later. Which is the 4th major stages? Forming, storming, norming, performing. The 5th stage is adjourning. Okay, let us go and understand forming. Don't worry about these terminologies. It is very easy to understand. Let me start. Forming. Forming, nothing but formation of the team. Is it? The team formation may happen voluntarily or maybe by selection or by force. For example, if you are a voluntary organization, you can select your own team, your friends, whatever. Or if you are your own businessman, you can select your own staff. But if you are working in an organization, company, the company may decide the team which you have to accept. Are you getting my point? Company may decide the team you have to accept. For example, marriage, love marriage or arranged marriage. Love marriage, you might have selected your team. But if it is arranged marriage, you are forced as a bridegroom, a girl has been forced to stay with a different environment. So that is a formation of different team for her. Are you getting my point? Yes. Let's go to storming stage. When in the storming stage, we can find a little difference of opinion between the team members. Why this happens? Whenever we form a team, we cannot immediately expect full cooperation from all the members, because each and every member will have their own ideologies and everybody want to implement their ideologies first. So everybody try to give their inputs. So it may create a little kind of rift environment in the team. I will take once again the same example. If it is a cricket team, when new members added in the team may look there is lack of coordination among the players. If you say one more example, the same bridegroom example, when bridegroom comes to the new family, he may feel little uncomfort. Similarly, other members of the family may feel little uncomfort with the new girl who came to their house. There may be little difference of practices between them. Habits may change. So, it is the team members will find little difficult to accept the other members who joined the team. So this rift will go on for a while. And the next stage is norming. Here the rift will be getting settled down. That means each member will understand the characteristics, hobbies and good and bad thing about others, so they try to settle down. Once this happens, when they develop trust on others, when they try to love other members of the team, then the fourth important stage starts, that is performance stage. See friends, here very important thing. Once the team is formed, immediately performance you cannot expect. This is the thing which you have to learn. Once the team is formed, it takes a lot of time. That is, it has to cross two important stages, that is storming and norming, to get a performance. This we have to understand clearly. I think I have made it clear. Okay, let us go to the last option, that is adjourning option. It is nothing but your team work is completed, some task is assigned to a team, work is completed, so team is changed or team is reshuffled, new members added. So what happens when new members added or team is cancelled or new team is formed? What will happen? Again, it has to go for this very important stage which you have to learn. Yes. You adopt this team building concept to your office environment. See, you are working in an organization or an office. You can take an example of railways. Indian Railway, whether it is a team or one railway station is a team. Both office and organization is a team. Isn't it? Because you now match the characteristics of the team. It should have common goal, leader, each member has responsibility and interlinking roles. Whether an organization is having all these characters? Yes. So, even an organization is a team, whether they work in the same place or not. It is a team. In an office environment, we always see lot of transfers, adding of new members, one member going to another group. Yes. When these things happen, a performance should not decline. That is the reason this team building has to be understood properly, and we have to follow this. As I already explained, whenever there is a different team has been formed due to transfer or promotions, new recruitment, etc., the team formations will happen. New team formations will happen. Whenever there is a transfer, you may go to another office. The team you may like or may not like. Yes, that is the second stage, storming. When you are going to a new environment, new group, new team, you may not prefer that, but you have to adopt to that. So after forming, that storming stage has to be faced. When the storming stage is cooled down, then norming stage will happen. In the norming stage, you will understand each member, then you will go to the performing stage. Very, very important is we should always try to cross from storming to norming stage. Otherwise, performance will not be there. Okay. Now, let us try to understand whether a movement from storming to norming, whether it will happen automatically. Do you expect any magic there? No. The organization may take some efforts to bring the team from storming stage to norming stage, but most of the success of a team to come out from storming to norming is there with the members of the team only. If the team members decides and if they put little efforts to bring the team from storming to norming, then only there will be a success to that team and it can perform. Okay, so that is the major thing which a team member should understand. Each member has to realize this, and they have to try to remove all the differences, rift between the members, and they have to bring the team to a norming stage. Then only they can perform better than other teams. Do you understood, friends? So what is our intention? Once the team is formed, we should cross the storming stage, come to a norming stage and perform. So this you can apply in the family also, and your business and your other social activities also. So I think I have made my topic very clear, how we have to approach the team building and why it is required, and how we should adopt in our organization. Thank you, friends. If you like this video, please subscribe. Thank you.